I can promise you one thing. You will learn everything about marketing that you need to know in the upcoming 15 minutes. And I won't make you miss out on anything while you constantly hear new things that you've never heard before. So when you follow that step-by-step process, I can promise you that you will achieve the same results as that I've gotten to making over $4 million with my consulting company and scaling my software company to 1.2 million ARR in the first 30 days of launching with all my marketing plans in line. Now, I'm going to explain you this, and I'm going to break it down in 3 steps. The first 2 aren't that necessary. That's why a minute after watching, from this point on, you'll have these marketing plans, and I'll have them covered because I won't go into them in depth. From 0 to 10, from 10 to 100, and from 100 to $1 million plus. From 0 to 10, cold DM, cold calling, cold outreach. That's the only thing you must do. Topic closed. Second one, organic and paid. That is how you get from 10 to 100. Topic closed. I'm not going to talk about it. Now, there is one other marketing strategy that you never heard of before. And this is probably one of the most genius and smartest marketing strategies that you can implement today to actually separate yourself from anybody else. Because right now, like, you know my brand. You know I do things different than most people do, which is the reason why what I do works. But you're doing things constantly on a daily basis that other people do, meaning it's harder to separate yourself and create unique branding and marketing angles. Now, I'm going to dissect number 3 in 3 different components. And one example of great marketing is multi-level marketing. You've probably heard of this before. You know this, where you leverage labor and capital and you do small incentive-based rewards to get other people to continuously work for you and build a pyramid on it, which is great marketing. It absolutely works. Like Andrew Tate became big doing this. And it's mostly, I would describe it as a volume play. It has not really anything to do with actual proper quality marketing, because what we care about is we don't care about views in its first place, right? Which is definitely happening when you have crazy millions and millions and millions of views. The more attention, the more money you will make. But what we need to do when we want to become business owners, increase our status and actually have a proper brand that we truly care about, we need to have quality. So the next step onto that is utilizing the perspective of clipping. Clipping is awesome, right? It's super great. It just creates, at certain moments, diminishing returns in the actual return on investment that it will create, because it won't give you the highest quality output, right? So what happens, it can instantly reframe you as a non-authoritative person, which then makes people disrespect you in certain ways or makes people see you as just somebody else. Now, that is a strategy that Iman Gadzhi leveraged for him to become big, to get to the level where he is at. And they're both great. They absolutely fucking work. They just work. They work. But there is one other strategy that I want to talk about that I utilize for me to get to the situation of where I'm at now, to get to 100,000 qualified niched followers that have tens of thousands of dollars to invest upfront within a matter of minutes. And this is leveraging trademarks in your marketing. Now, how does this work in the first place? Micro videos, story sequence, profile funnel. That are the main 3 marketing strategies I've been using over the past 2 years for me to separate myself from anybody else. Now, how have I been doing this? Because there is a 10-step process that I use to actually implement this. And this goes all the way from ideation of how I get the idea to post, performance, actual result. And I'm going to walk you through these 10 steps quickly. Also happy to send it over to you. I have a full breakdown that I give my clients on how to approach this marketing strategy for them to create a unique marketing angle, for them to be that authority in the market, right? For them to be that industry leader that separates them from fucking most people, because most people can't do that, which is the reason why I have done it, which I can multiply then on my clients, right? They can replicate it. But you need to have a framework, because if you do this wrong, it's not that you'll technically lose something, you just lose a lot of fucking time. A lot of fucking time. Because building something like this requires time when you don't have a proper framework. So the first thing, right, when I came to this idea was micro video. The most beautiful part is I'm gonna make the calculation for you. Let's say my TAM, right, my total addressable market is 100 million people in my niche. which is decently niche. There are 8 billion people in this world. So I'm only taking up 100 million, right? Now I'm taking up these 100 million people. With my new strategy, what happened with my Miro videos is I started to create traction and people started to like it because it's extremely intriguing to watch. What people visually see makes sense with what I'm verbally saying. So their brain doesn't need to work because they can instantly catch on with the Miro video on the bottom that I created on my main Nick Setting Instagram YouTube channel. Sorry, on Instagram channel and my YouTube channel, both. And the beauty about that is that the interaction, the message is complicated and niched, but because I formulated with the right format, the message comes across to the viewer extremely simple and easy, which is the reason why the retention increases for them to understand it quick. And that is why in the first place, it was very contradicting to most people's content. It was high value. I did it at the right time because at that time, raw content was everything. People were just spitting out, like the most important thing at that time when I started a half year ago, everybody was just spitting out random content, random facts, like random thoughts. And I came with a strategic play of why things actually worked. And that is the reason why it did work. So that in the first place. Now, we have that 100 million. And when I started to create this content, what happened is I started to slowly take up, let's say, it was around 10 to 12 million in reach of that total addressable market, the 10. Now what happens, other people started copying me. And here's where the secret comes into place. All these people that are replicating my Miro videos are marketing for me without them realizing they're actually doing that because they think they profit themselves. Let me explain you how this works. And this is smart because I found a new marketing angle. I position myself as the inventor / the expert, which is the case, right? Now, I've seen so many guys invent new things and other, not only international companies with, like massive reach take that over, but also people in smaller niches like we're in take ideas over because they have the idea, they put it out, but somebody else takes it. And that feeling feels so frustrated that you came up with a new idea, you saw it do good, and somebody else took it over and made it bigger. Now everybody thinks that person invented the wheel, which is terrible. But I maintained my frame. Everybody knows that when you make a Miro video is Nick Setting. Now, how did I do that? 10 to 12 million, let's say 10 million in reach, I took up. And that is the moment people started to copy because people started to see this fucking guy is blowing, like it's working. And the moment people taste that, people are rats, right? The moment people taste that, they want to participate in that growth. People love to participate in something that's working, right? Which they should, which they have the full right to, which is what everybody's supposed to be doing because that's how we're wired. Now, the most important thing in that, and that's what I really like the most, is when I take up 10 million, there was another guy that produced the same stuff, but what he didn't understand, this is the thing. Let's say he produced that new content, meaning he technically takes up more space from that TAM, from that big circle of people, of users, right? The 100 million TAM. Now, let's say I took up 10 and then I took up 20 because I started growing extremely quick, like hundreds of thousands of views, tens of thousands of likes, very niche, very specific. Everybody likes it. Everybody respects it deeply. And this guy started to make content, but he started to get 10 million views, right? He's like total reach, 10 million in reach, single views, which is ridiculous. And that is great because constant people start to take up more space. And obviously I had the biggest piece of the pie, but this guy started to all these guys started to take up like small pieces. But the beauty is that the Instagram algorithm is perfection, like is so extremely well positioned for it to redirect traffic back to the pioneer. Because what most people don't understand is that, let's say I have 20 million and there's somebody else that has 5 million. Of that 5 million that he has technically created, he has exposed the other part of the 100 million users that have never seen Miro videos before to that Miro strategy because I didn't take up the full market yet. Neither do I now, right? But what happened is that person started to take up 5 million and he thinks, fuck, this is working. It's going well, right? And let's say he was making $10,000. He started to make 20, maybe 30. Great, correct, you're right, you're making that money. Now what happens is what truly happens is he is only utilizing that one and monetizing that 1 million, because all the other 4 million, all the other 80% will go to me because I'm the pioneer. Everybody that has anytime seen anybody with a Miro video knows me. Anyone now, right? Because they figure it out later. So yes, people that do it, they will grow for a shorter amount of period. Yes, they will. But do you understand, especially in the last half year, how many people we had on calls? We did a type from with, and we said, where did you came in from first? An Instagram organic reel. And this is the moment they already paid us, right? You know what they said? A lot said, Nick, I came in from your ads. A lot said, Nick, I came in from your Miro videos. And around 33 to 44%, very random numbers, but it's actually accurate. 33%, so 1/3 to 44, which is 4 of 10, right? It was around on average 40%, came in from other people's Miro videos and paid us, because most people will find their way back to the pioneer. And that strategy is ridiculous, because in the beginning, I was like, fuck, people are copying me. But then I actually started to do proper research. I spent $25,000 on 3 people in 1 month. I paid them, one guy I paid 10 grand, two guys I paid 6-7 grand. They did so in-depth research on my Miro videos. I gave them all my numbers, everything. And I said, yo, you know what, guys? Fucking figure it out, because if I crack this code, I can become the most famous person in the world, right? Because I can replicate it for myself, which we're doing now with the story sequences, and it's fucking working. So that $25,000 investment based on the data that I have right now was 1,000% worth it, because we're doing the same with the story sequences. The biggest people in the market are using story sequences, and we get people on calls that say, Nick, I know you were the one that started it, but I saw it on this guy. You know how much credibility that gives me in the first place. So back to that calculation. Let's say I have 20 million out of the 100, and somebody else picks up that 5. So that's, let's say, from 20 to 25 million. He picks up a new people in that total addressable market, 5 million. 4 goes to me. 4 will see ultimately my videos and converts through me, right? And that is the power of building trademarks in your marketing. I've done this 3 times, and all marketing strategies lasted around 4 to 5 months. The story sequence one is still ongoing, and it's going insanely fucking well. It's working because so many other people replicate my story sequences, and I get DMs. My team gets DMs. My clients in the first place even get DMs, because you know what the fun part is? I'm letting my clients replicate the same shit in their niche. So they do the exact same thing in their niche, which is why it's working for them. Whether they are in the fitness niche, mindset niche, finance niche, anything, B2B or B2C. And when you understand this, and now we have a framework for this marketing strategy, it's so extremely powerful. Because the more minions I build under me that replicate what I do, the more people will tap into the market, the bigger the TAM becomes. Or you talk technically not the bigger the TAM, because the TAM has a maximum reach, right? But the bigger the volume gets observed into that TAM, the more people get aware about it, the more people get exposed about it, and then the more people that get filtered out towards me, which is great. And this has made me so much money. And not only that, this has given me respect. This has given me brand. This has given me everything that I need to get to where I am now. And when you know how to play this well, because this requires a fucking strategy, you can duplicate it over and over again, which is what we're doing. I did it with the profile funnel. It worked out extremely well. I did it with the story sequence now ongoing. It goes so fucking hard. It's the best one we ever did. And I did it with my Miro videos, and it's working extremely well. Guys, there is next level marketing that you don't even tap into, that you're not even aware about. I can send you over our 10-step framework. You reach out to me on Instagram, I'll send it over. There's a Loom video included of around 1.5 hours where I go over this in-depth, step-by-step on how to implement this. I'm so fucking excited, because this is the true power of organic marketing and letting other people do the job for you. And this is what's going to get me to $1 million a month. This is going to get me. That is what is going to get me to bigger levels, right? And I think that is one of the most powerful things you can ever do. I appreciate you for watching this video. Make sure that you're aware about that this marketing play is still accessible to you. You just have to know what the fuck you're going to do. That's why we help our clients do it, to implement it correctly, because if you do it the wrong way, it requires you 30 hours of time without zero results. Because most people try it, but they can't make it work because they haven't done it. They don't understand what is actually required. I actually love this shit so much. I appreciate you for watching. I love to talk about this shit. This is so amazing to talk about. This is the shit I teach my clients, and I'm actually excited about it. Because these are just topics that are so fucking interesting. I came back to Dubai today. We're going to lock in for this week. And we're going to get a lot of work done. I appreciate you for watching. And let's get to the fucking second video, bro. I'm so fucking excited for this. See you soon.